of a war, right? What you think people supposed to be doing? People burnt out. People disengaged. People are uninterested. And a lot of people are in the war, fucking strapped up. They got the M4s, they got the flak vests, they got the Kevlars. They ready, man. They out here, they out here taking out people. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I want to break this down because I particularly have been a bystander with all this male versus female. You know, people send me stuff, you know, what you think about this, and this dude talking about females, or, you know, and don't get me wrong, there's always going to be a good point. There's always going to be some shit that sounds good. Always. But if you ain't seeing the big picture, you ain't seeing how all these pebbles leading you to the house where the wolf is, acting like your grandma, you won't know the trick. You won't know the trick. You won't know how to move. Well, so that's all I'm saying is people can't get discouraged, especially entrepreneurs. Can't get discouraged in this time. People ain't doing what they was doing 2 years ago in the shopping world, in the supporting world. You know, people ain't doing it. Some people thinking they can go out, they can start their own business. You were doing it 2 years ago. You said, yo, such and such was doing that. You know what? It's crazy out here. I'm feeling this fight energy, so I don't really want to mess with my job like that no more. Like, I'm dissatisfied with this, I'm dissatisfied with that, and I realize I'm in a war being perpetuated on that. Well, let me go and start a business. And so they start a business. When we in stage 5, is battle fatigue. It ain't the same, bro. So you gotta endure that. You gotta endure. Yeah, I know it's late. I know we're gonna catch many people on, but I'm gonna post this. We'll break down the 6 stages. First, triggering event. In the gender war, it was COVID. 2, destroying the image of your opponent. All right, this is where the black man, particularly the black woman's image, especially on social media, has been destroyed longer than before COVID, but it's been intense and deliberate in how the image is being destroyed as a way to lead to these other steps in weaponizing it. Stage 3 is sacrifice, right? Casualty of wars. There has to be a martyr. There has to be an event where there's somebody that is the face of this, and then they get sacrificed, right? Where they are casualty of this war. Right, in the gender war particularly, it's Kevin Samuels. Next one is the weaponization, right? Using this information and now weaponizing it, right? Building platforms, building entities to continue to reinforce this, right? In the gender war, it's all these podcasters that's talking about relationship stuff and they're going at each other. We're not talking about, you know, folks that's uniting, having conversations and just opening up. We're talking about the people that's building conversations or platforms to target the other demographic, to create content that people can then view, use, and weaponize in their own household, in their own relationships, right? Stage 5, battle fatigue. That's what we had. That's what we deal with the increase of divorce, increase in unwillingness to be in close relationships or intimate relationships, the unwillingness to connect and build communities and network amongst people because people are disengaged because of this war. They just sick of this shit. I'm tired of showing up to this shit so much, right? I just want to disengage and be away from all of this, right? Suicide rates increasing, right? All of these things are a product of the battle fatigue, right? And the last one, the tools of propaganda to prolong the war. And this is what I say, AI has been the biggest tool. These algorithms don't got no fucking feelings, and they just perpetuate, and they use these filter bubbles to give you exactly what you want. And putting us in this vicious cycle, that's all we're going to see. It's the same kind of content. Men, women, transgender, all these things coming at us all at once, right? And we in the middle. We're trying to figure it out. But this is the conversation that's going to happen. What's the solution? We talked about this. We got to have a solution. All this, we talk about problems, we talk about how this whole thing in stages is folded. What's the play, right? The play is networking, building communities, right? Getting a tribe of people that's on the same frequency, on the same mindset, and growing. Because alone you go fast, together you go far. We ain't gonna do nothing if we don't unite. That's why the new shirt, Kings and Queens, is all about the divine feminine and divine masculine energy working together. They're facing back to back. They're like two sides of one coin, right? You know, this concept of, you know, you becoming one with your partner. No, you got to first start becoming one with yourself, right? You are the king and the queen. You are the masculine and the feminine. Once we identify that, the war can't happen. Like, we don't even deal with the same level of treachery from the war, because now when you look at the feminine, you look at, now I'm a male, so I'm resonating in my masculine, which is the physical, but then I ascend to the feminine energy, which is the metaphysical. As I cross through that threshold, I got to get past the heart chakra. So I got to get to the frequency of love. So a man who is not living in the frequency of love can't even get to the other side. You can't even get to the metaphysical side of things, right? And you can't tap into that portion, right? And again, it's not about what gender you was born. It's the energy in which you've been cultivated. So there's a lot of women that's not tapping into, they got some blockage. They might start at the crown, but they got some blockages in there. So they got some blockages in there, and they can't get to the heart, and they now tapping into their root and their sacral chakra, right? And they're out here, creating more life, right? Without the higher consciousness, or without the metaphysical consciousness to really cultivate the life that they're producing. And so it's something to think about, something to understand. The 6 stages. I'm gonna share this video. I'm sitting here doing water and watermelon, whole stereotype. GW Apparel, clothing that speak, always delivering the message.